Until comparatively recently, Jaguar wasn't known for making SUVs. In fact, a fair few people wondered what took the British car manufacturers so long to bring one to market. It would have to be careful not to tread on sister company Land Rover's toes, of course, and it would take a fair while to nail that Jag feel in such a large package. The F-Pace, its first SUV, is a cracking car, but a little bit big for some people. So now Jaguar's brought out the E-Pace. Is it a baby Jag SUV for the masses? Well, here's 5 things you need to know. Small cars tend to be light, agile and nimble, and that tends to mean they're good with money. And in reality, when you're buying a new motor, you want to know how much it's going to cost you, how much to tax, how much per month, and how much it's going to cost you in fuel. The E-Pace, though, is not a light car. The base level car is around 1,800 kilos. The top spec 2-litre petrol, well, that's knocking on 1,900 kilos. Now, to put that into perspective, a top spec F-Pace, this car's bigger brother, with a 3-litre V6, well, that's over 1,800 kilos, but only just. This thing's heavier than an F-Pace. That extra weight means that it can be a little bit slow. The top spec 296 brake horsepower 2-litre petrol takes 6.4 seconds to get to 62 miles an hour. And that is a long time. The entry-level E-Pace comes with front-wheel drive, but in reality, who's going to want to buy a base-spec E-Pace with only half the wheels driven, especially when it looks like one that should be all-wheel drive? The thing is, the all-wheel drive powertrain, yeah, it is impressive, but you're unlikely to want to get one up a mountain. It'll probably struggle with that, and it won't be a great companion in a desert. However, what it will do is it'll take you over rutted fields and wet stuff and occasional mud and snow and bits like that. In reality, though, this is a Jaguar. It's designed for the road, and well, there can be some pretty nasty potholes around town. Anyway, speaking of the road, the E-Pace is small and it's quite heavy. Now, classically, Jaguars were all about space, grace and pace. And well, the whole grace and pace thing doesn't really happen. It does do the space thing very well, and that is what will sell it to the vast majority of people. However, even in this, the top spec 296 horsepower 2-litre turbocharged petrol, it's not exactly the most engaging thing to drive. You won't pick one up and then take the long route home for a quick blast after work. Still, it'll be very good at what the vast majority of people will buy it for, and that's putting people and stuff in the back and going places. The E-Pace is a car designed with small details in mind. As such, there's a few little Easter eggs dotted around the car. Internally, Jag referred to the E-Pace as its cub because it's the baby Jag. So on the windscreen there's a little silhouette of a Jaguar and its cub. There's also one in the puddle lights off of the wing mirrors, so when you open the doors you get a little projection of a Jag and its cub on the floor, which is very sweet. And also in its stowage areas there are little paw prints everywhere. How nice. That said, speaking of eggs, in white, from some angles, it does look like one.
Pricing something like this was always going to be a tough job, and while Jaguar has the cachet to pop a decent premium on its motors, the E-Pace might be a little punchy for some. The base car starts at around £30,000, which seems reasonable, but how many people are really going to buy the lowest powered, lowest spec car? Don't all rush at once. To get one with a decently powered diesel motor in a high trim with all-wheel drive can see you looking at over £40,000. A top-spec petrol is over £50,000.
So that is the Jaguar E-Pace. It doesn't really feel like a traditional Jag. Its pricing is a little bit too keen, and it is a bit on the portly side. However, it will do what it's likely many buyers will want it to do. It'll take them, their family and their staff on long trips to friends and other family members. It'll swallow a weekly shop, and it'll go across the occasional muddy field wearing a decent badge on its nose.